So we've talked about the first 18 episodes of Grimm. This is episodes 19, 20, and 21. The second to last video for this year on the first season of Grimm. So let's start out with episode 19. Now, something I haven't talked about before, this little thing that's been going on, is that repairman had come fix a refrigerator for Nick, only to realize that he was fixing the refrigerator for a Grimm, and he was a beaver Wesen. So now he's freaking out about how he's oh my goodness, there's this evil, monstrous Grimm around. Anyway, so through the last couple episodes, we've been slowly having Nick trying to reach out to him and be like, dude, calm, because he's telling all his friends about this, and now all his friends are worried and all spying on him, and he's like, okay, calm down. It's okay. I am not gonna kill you. You're safe. If you're not a bad Wesen, I'm not gonna harm you. And because of that, now, the Grimm, now Nick and this beaver Wesen are becoming a little more like friends. They know each other now. And that's where this episode comes in. In this episode, one of the beaver's friend's son is the witness to a murder. But the fact of the matter is, this murder was committed by a troll Wesen. So now he's freaked out because who's a part of the mafia, basically. So he's freaked out. This kid's freaked out because if he comes out and says this guy did it, then his family will get attacked and all that kind of stuff. And so he's hiding, trying to say, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be the witness. And Nick is like, okay, dude, you need to put this guy away. Please tell me who it is. We'll put you in witness protection, but you have to tell us so that this guy does not get away with killing more people. Thus, there's this whole thing going on. Meanwhile, also, Nick has Monroe over for dinner because Juliet wanted to be able to thank this guy who helped save her. And so there's this whole aspect going on with that, trying to make up this whole story behind how they met without revealing, because Nick hasn't revealed to his girlfriend yet that he's a Grimm. So he's trying to, let's come up with a fake story to tell her right now. So there's that whole aspect of that. But the big thing is just dealing with these beaver community and trying to all convince them that this is worth doing. This next episode is a big thing that I need to talk to you guys about. When I was planning to make these videos today, I suddenly realized something. I had mixed up 2 episodes. So I had already talked about this episode. This is episode 20. This is the episode that's dealing with Cinderella. The episode I was thinking of, way back, I believe it's episode 11, is not dealing with Cinderella. That episode is dealing with this spider Wesen. So instead, I'm going to switch those around. And now, this is episode 11. This is what happens in episode 11. Might be a little confusing because suddenly I'm just jumping back to the beginning of our series. But I have to do this because I never talked about episode 11. And if you want to know what happens in episode 7, go back to my 4th episode where I talk about episode 20. Sorry about that, but hopefully it all clears out in the end. I'll make sure to probably put a thing in that comment section saying, I mixed these up. You're actually dealing with this episode is actually episode 20. So, but sorry about that. I had already released the video and all that kind of stuff by the time I figured this mistake out. And I'm probably not going to go back and re-upload that video just because of that one mistake. So I will have to clarify that in the description for that video. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go on. So episode 11 is dealing with a spider Wesen. This spider Wesen is kind of like a Black Widow almost type thing, where what happens is, I'm going to try to keep it kid-friendly. When I say this, basically, this Wesen kills men after doing certain things with these men. Basically, what happens is, if she doesn't take the life force almost out of these men, then she's going to grow really old very quickly. So she has to fix this problem as fast as she can. Every couple months, she has to go out and find new victims to basically suck their lifeblood out. And because of that, it keeps her young. There's a certain aspect of this that's really interesting where, as we've been talking about, deja vu.
Whoa. Deja vu.
This first season has a lot to do with building up how the Wesen community works. And this episode is really big with you learn about the Wesen retirement homes. They had to go to this retirement home and meet some of these type of Wesens, these spider Wesens, that have grown really old because they chose to not give into their, that side of them. And this is aspect of where this is one of those episodes where I wish there was a part of me that wished that the Wesen had won almost in a way, because all her victims were not the best people anyways. And the fact of the matter is really sad because she had a family, she had a kid, and she had to give that she had to because she got captured in the end of the episode, she wasn't able to spend her time with her family anymore, and she grew old really quickly. And it's really sad almost, but it's one of those aspects of okay, in one way she did not like doing it, but the other fact of the matter is she had to stay young. And so there's this whole conflict going on in her mind too of I don't want to do this somewhat, but I also have to if I want to stay young. So I don't know, it was a really interesting episode. I'm sorry that I mixed up episode 20 and episode 11, but in the end I hope you guys would forgive me for that. And I thought this episode was a solid episode, interesting episode, but a solid one. Next one, this is a really big one. Episode 21, right? So we're going back down again. Episode 21 is dealing with Bigfoot. Basically what happens is these blue buns are suddenly having this, they're going out of control. And they're turning into even more wild with, basically Bigfoot. They're turning into Bigfoot. And this is a big episode because this is the episode when now Hank sees his first Wesen, and now he's thinking he's seen stuff, and part of Nick is trying to just say that, oh, you just saw something, you wouldn't, you didn't actually see anything that was in your mind. But now, going into season 2, Hank is going insane with this. He saw something he wasn't supposed to see, and now he's trying to figure this all out. So now we'll see in season 2 what happens with Hank when it comes to that stuff. But basically, yeah, in this episode, these blue buns, the big rat wolves, are turning into these more wild blue buns almost. With, basically Bigfoot. They're turning into Bigfoot, and they're killing these people, and they're going away from they're going way into their animal instincts. So basically what happens is they have to solve this problem of which ones are doing this, how are they doing it. And I won't explain the whole thing, but basically it's an interesting episode where you get to meet some of Monroe's friends from back in the day when he was, in rehab, basically, where he was trying to get over his animal instincts as a blue bun. And you see some of his friends that were in the same camp when it comes to that stuff. And I won't spoil what happens, but it's really interesting, this episode. I really enjoyed this episode. Tell me your thoughts about it. So guys, those are those episodes. Sorry about the whole mix-up that happened with the episode 11 and episode 20. Hope everything won't get too confusing with that. Again, when I eventually put out longer videos, I will make sure to not make that mistake again and not mix those two episodes up. So anyways, guys, tell me your thoughts about we're almost done with this season. We only have one episode left. I'm going to put out a video talking about just the last episode because, somewhat it deserves it's the finale of the first season. It deserves its own episode. So I'm going to put out a video just talking about that episode. Tell me your thoughts on all these episodes. Tell me if you guys have watched the series before. Do you guys like it? Again, you guys can watch it on Amazon Prime. You can watch it on the CW because it just added it there. I've been leaving a link to it on YouTube. You can watch it. You can just Google it and find a bunch of places where you can watch it. It's a really good series. I enjoyed it so much. I recommended it to some people in a group, and one of them mentioned that they weren't the biggest fan of it because it seemed a little cheesy. And we'll be watching it. We watched the first couple episodes while making this review, and I remember, and I was like, yeah, it does get better later on, but yeah, the dialogue, especially in the beginning, they could have done a better job with trying to. It's a really silly concept that they're trying to take serious. And it kind of comes off a little cheesy in the beginning with this concept that they're trying to take serious. And it's not coming off properly. So anyways, guys, tell me your thoughts about it. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe. Again, we're almost to the 100 subscriber mark. I cannot wait to be able to reach more people. This has been the Movie Night Review. Peter Wigg, signing.